First up at the UFC 308 main card, we have Shara Magomedov taking on Armen Petrosyan. Shara Magomedov 14-0, undefeated in his career with 11 stoppages. Armen Petrosyan 8-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off a submission loss to world champion grappler Rodolfo Vieira. And we've broken down Shara Bullet a few times. He's a one-eyed gap tooth with a homeless beard, but very good striking. He popped onto the scene last year. He was touted as a wild man, an insanely dangerous striker. And yes, he has 14 fights with 11 knockouts, but knockouts have not come easy to him at the UFC level. He's had 3 fights. 2 of them have been decisions. The only finish he got was against the guy on 4 days' notice who had to fly to the other side of the world, who gassed out halfway through that round. He's insanely powerful, though, with those kicks. He's very fast. He'll mix up some striking techniques. Takedown defense is just okay. His offensive takedowns are non-existent. Don't even attempt to look for that. And he's coming off yet another decision and a letdown of a fight. He's taking on the technical Armen Petrosyan. Fun striker, professional kickboxing background on his side as well. He can be a bit of a brawler at times, and he does rely on his chin, but he can just fight with clean, solid technique. We saw that in his fight with CLD. He lands an impressive almost 6 significant strikes per minute. He's hit with fewer than 3, and he does not have the best takedown defense on his side as well, but he has incredible scramble and get-up skills, but he did just get submitted by a world champion grappler. And Shara is tricky to break down because he clearly is a very good striker, but he's also not what they told us he would be. We were told this is one of the most dangerous strikers on planet Earth, and that's not what we've gotten. So on one hand, we have been disappointed. The fans have been disappointed in him because he hasn't delivered the insane knockouts that we were promised. On the other hand, he is undefeated. He continues to outstrike everyone he fights. And I came into this wanting to fade him. I came into this wanting to pick Armen. And if you go watch Armen fight CLD, he just used good old-fashioned technique, and he beat the flashy striker. And this could be more of the same, but I am still going to pick Shara here because I just feel like a lot of the hate coming Shara's way and a lot of the doubt coming his way is more from a place of disappointment because we haven't seen him finish people like we were told he could, and less from a place of like actually watching him fight. And I know Jacob did a fucking shit ton of tape study, and he wrote a 19-paragraph essay about how to beat Shara, so I'll let you give your piece. But I do think Shara squeaks out another decision where he's just going to kick a shit ton and be faster. What do you think?
Yeah, so I went into this fight knowing that I wanted to fade Shara, so I was already looking for reasons to kind of why I wanted to fade Shara. The number one reason was, as a technical, well-rounded striker, I do believe Armen's the better striker. And you'll hear me a lot of times say, in a mostly striking match, just pick the better striker, and you're going to do well most of the time. Armen is the more well-rounded, technical striker. Right, so that was going to be my pick. Was going to be Armen. I said, let me just make sure. And as I started diving into the film of Shara, and I did write it all out on Twitter. I put it on Instagram as well. I noticed that Shara he's an orthodox fighter with that karate stance. As you guys know, he really enjoys fighting southpaws. Bruno Silva was a southpaw. Michelle Olajaychik was a southpaw. Even Tricoli at times switched. I think he's an orthodox fighter, but was switching to southpaw at times as well. And when you watch Shara against these southpaws, he really likes that open stance to where he can really use that back leg effectively. And you'll see him just blast these kicks over and over, high kicks, body kicks. He can get the left leg involved, but he really likes that freedom and the footwork of facing a southpaw, which was the Bruno Silva. You saw Michelle try to chase down Shara, but against the southpaw, he can do that circling off his backside and backpedal because there's no power hand there, and he can also bounce off that back foot to throw those big power shots. When you watch Tricoli, when he was switching to orthodox against Shara, and Tricoli is not a good fighter at all. He's not he's an okay fighter, but a striker, enormous. He's not known for his striking. But when you watch that fight and you saw Tricoli start to switch to orthodox, you saw Shara kind of freeze. The only strikes he ever really threw against Tricoli when he was in an orthodox stance were leg kicks. He would use that back leg to kind of blast those leg kicks. If you watch Armen, when CLD was trying to throw those leg kicks, he's really good at timing leg kicks with his hands. He struggled a little bit against CLD timing those leg kicks because CLD had an 8-inch reach advantage and actually has some pretty good head movement and some defense. Shara is really lazy with his defense, especially when somebody is striking from the orthodox stance. Watch the very beginning of that strike. He pressures Shara with the orthodox stance. Shara can't circle out because he doesn't want to circle to the power hand against an orthodox fighter. Lands a nice 1-2 right down the middle because Shara's kind of frozen against the fence because he can't circle out. I believe that Armen, with his orthodox style as the better striker, is going to kind of freeze that free-flowing striking that we've seen against southpaws in Bruno, in Michel, against Tricoli at times. And he's going to freeze that movement and really put some hands on Shara. He's got really good hands. He knows how to counter the kicks very well. He's a very high-level striker. And Shara, when he gets kind of frozen against the fence, he will get kind of desperate with his hands, and his striking defense is fucking terrible. So I don't think you're going to see that free-flowing Shara that you've seen against these southpaws. I think he's going to be a little bit more frozen. When he gets against the fence and he can't really move, you're going to see Armen land some shots. He had CLD really hurt in that second round. And kind of smoked a guy who fights kind of similar to Shara, who had an 8-inch reach advantage. Shara's only going to have like a 2 or 3, I think. And Shara definitely doesn't have the defense that CLD had, and CLD got fucking cracked as well. So pick the better striker in a mostly striking matchup. I think Shara's going to struggle against this orthodox fighter in Armen, and I'm all over Armen.
Yeah, and this should be an interesting fight for sure. I think I came to it wanting to pick Armen. Like I just saw it on paper, just saw the names. I was like, I've been looking for a reason to fade Shara. This might be it. But then I went back and I watched the Shara fights. It's like, man, like he is winning these fights like pretty clearly, honestly. So it's just like I just have this feeling
with that. The only thing I was worried about before I did the southpaw breakdown, and the reason why I started rewatching fights even more, was I was worried that this was going to be a decision fight. And Shara is active, even if he's moving backwards. He's always boom, boom. Yeah. But when you watch him against those orthodox fighters, he's just not active. He literally will just freeze, kind of throw leg kicks, and try to strike. But every time he tried to strike, that's when Tricoli was able to level change. And Armen actually has got some decent takedowns.
He'll shoot a takedown too, yeah.
Yeah, and Shara has such a hole in the grappling. I wouldn't be surprised if Armen mixes in some grappling as well. I think this is a good fight for Armen.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I'm glad the UFC put it together because they need to know if Shara's good or not too before they fully invest everything they got in this guy. Because he has been... Listen, this year, 2024, this is Alex Pereira's year. But Shara was being put into a position with the very quick turnarounds. He was fighting 2-3 times in a couple of months, and like they threw him on ABC. Like Shara's a guy that the UFC like wants to push a little bit. He looks the part. The guy looks like an absolute psychopath. His fight record tells you he's knocking people out. He just hasn't done it in the UFC. I'm looking forward to this fight. Should be a good fight. I'm not going to touch on DraftKings Fantasy. I don't think it's highly scored. I think it's going to be, if Shara wins, backing up, point fighting, landing more kicks. If Armen wins, moving forward and just landing a little cleaner as Shara's backing up. I think it's a decision either way. I don't think we're going to see a finish, so I'm not going to touch DraftKings Fantasy. But if you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, the artificial intelligence, the round line leans, the DraftKings Plays, FanDuel, Prize Picks, Underdog, all of it. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. $10 for every single thing. We don't tier it out. We don't play any stupid-ass games. $10, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.
Wait for Armen to land those big shots off the leg kicks of Shara. I guarantee it happens. Up against the fence, he's going to try and blast the leg kick, get fucking smoked by a right hand, panic a little bit, and we'll see what happens after that.
It should be fun because when Bruno Silva fought Shara, he was just shooting takedowns. He didn't want to engage. So, like... There will be some engagement.
Michel tried, but he was just chasing him. I mean, he couldn't get it out.
Yeah, and Michel sucks at grappling. So, yeah.